Day 2 of White History Month, and we're talking all about the foundations of whiteness this week. Today, we're celebrating one of the whites' greatest achievements, weaponized filth. For centuries, we've been led to believe that European colonizers conquered the Americas because they were smarter, more advanced, and simply superior. But the truth? They were just nasty. When Hernan Cortés arrived in Mexico in 1519, the Aztec Empire had a population of millions, a thriving capital, and advanced engineering that rivaled European cities. But within just a few years, the smallpox that they brought along with them unalived almost 90% of the indigenous population, including their emperor. So there was no strategery. They war of the worlds their way to victory. In fact, the diseases that Cortés brought to Mexico spread so widely that just a few years later, when Francisco Pizarro and his 168 men landed in South America, they were able to defeat the entire Incan Empire because smallpox had already wiped out so much of their leadership. I mean, isn't it wild that we were told that they were these brilliant tacticians, but in reality, when you've got biological warfare working in your favor, a handful of guys with swords can take down entire civilizations. And let's not forget about North America proper. When the Pilgrims arrived in New England, they didn't land on virginal, untouched wilderness. They landed in a graveyard. Entire native villages had been wiped out by European fishermen and traders who had been traveling along the North American coast. They brought diseases like smallpox, leptospirosis, and hepatitis with them. From 1616 to 1619 in particular, they wiped out up to 90% of the Wampanoag people. So by the time the Pilgrims showed up in 1620, they found abandoned houses and cultivated fields, already cleared and ready for planting. In fact, the famous Plymouth Rock settlement was actually built on the ruins of a Wampanoag village called Patuxet, whose residents had been wiped out by disease. The Pilgrims actually saw this as a sign from God, so they moved right on into native homes, looted their food stores, and planted crops on the land that had already been farmed for generations. To make matters even worse, when the colonizers realized that disease was their most powerful method of eviction, they weaponized it. Historical records actually show that as colonizers migrated further inland, they intentionally gave Native Americans smallpox-infected blankets to accelerate their demise. So no, the Pilgrims didn't tame the wilderness. Their disgusting, foul, dirty asses occupied a plague-stricken landscape, claimed the remains as their own, and called it destiny. Later in the month, I'll touch on how white people still maintain a legacy of unhygienic practices even to this day. So stay tuned and join me on March 31st to test your retention in my live White History Month trivia contest. We'll see you there.